A special thank you to each of our subscribers who make this channel possible. Here's today's story. In a dramatic turn of events, Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro was sworn in for a controversial third six-year term on Friday, a move that has been met with fierce opposition and widespread protests. The opposition coalition, known as the Democratic Unitary Platform, has vehemently rejected the newly inaugurated president's legitimacy, labeling the recent election a coup d'état, achieved through systematic election fraud and a brutal campaign of repression. Amid increasing tensions, Maduro took the oath of office before a heavily guarded parliament, proclaiming his upcoming term as a period of peace. However, this declaration comes just a day after thousands of Venezuelans flooded the streets in protest against what they perceive as Maduro's power grab. The coalition stated, with the usurpation of power by Nicolas Maduro, supported by brute force and ignoring the popular sovereignty expressed on July 28, a coup d'état has been accomplished. Critics have pointed to a fresh wave of repression that has swept the nation in the lead-up to the inauguration, with numerous activists and opposition figures reported arrested. The United Nations has voiced its alarm over the escalating situation. Opposition leader Maria Corina Machado, who emerged from hiding to spearhead the anti-Maduro demonstrations, was briefly detained by security forces, according to her team. Reports indicate that at least 17 protesters were also taken into custody, as noted by Gonzalo Himiub of the NGO Foro Penal. In response to the growing unrest, Maduro has mobilized thousands of police and military personnel, casting a heavy shadow over the protests and maintaining a tight grip on the capital, Caracas, with roadblocks and heightened security measures. The opposition has accused Maduro, now 62, of stealing the election held on July 28 last year, while the international community, including the United States and the European Union, has recognized opposition candidate Edmundo González Urrutia as the legitimate president-elect. Notably, President Miguel Díaz-Canel of Cuba, one of Maduro's few allies, was present at the inauguration ceremony, underscoring the isolation of Maduro's regime. González Urrutia, 75, who had pledged to return to Venezuela to assume power, has faced significant obstacles, including government-issued, wanted posters with a $100,000 reward for his capture plastered throughout the capital. The backdrop of this political turmoil is grim, with over 2,400 people arrested, 28 killed, and approximately 200 injured during protests following Maduro's claim to election victory last year. Maduro has managed to sustain a fragile peace with the help of security forces and paramilitary groups known as colectivos, who have been accused of instilling fear in neighborhoods to suppress dissent. The Electoral Council, loyal to Maduro, announced his victory shortly after polls closed last July, yet it has yet to provide a detailed breakdown of the vote. In stark contrast, the opposition claims that their tally of polling station results shows González Urrutia winning at least two-thirds of the vote. González Urrutia replaced the popular Machado on the ballot after the government barred her from running. During the protests in Caracas on Thursday, Machado defiantly addressed the crowd, vowing, "We are not afraid." However, her team reported that she was violently intercepted by security forces as she attempted to leave the rally, with shots fired nearby. She was subsequently detained and forced to record videos denying her detention before being released. The news of her detention sparked outrage, including condemnation from neighboring Colombia, which has become a refuge for many of the estimated 7 million Venezuelans who have fled the country under Maduro's regime. In response to what he termed an international conspiracy to disturb Venezuelans' peace, Freddy Bernal, the governor of Táchira, announced the closure of the border with Colombia for the weekend. U.S. President-elect Donald Trump expressed concern for Machado and González Urrutia, stating they should not be harmed. Trump's administration had previously tightened sanctions against the Maduro government for its anti-democratic actions, a stance that may become more pronounced if he returns to power. González Urrutia recently completed an international tour aimed at increasing pressure on Maduro to relinquish power, which included a meeting with President Biden in Washington. Biden has called for a peaceful transfer back to democratic rule in Venezuela. Maduro's previous re-election in 2018 was similarly condemned as fraudulent, yet he has clung to power through a combination of populism and repression, even as the economy has continued to spiral. The political landscape in Venezuela remains fraught with tension as Maduro's inauguration signals a continuation of the regime that has faced widespread international condemnation and domestic unrest. That's all for this story. We upload videos every day covering many different subjects, so hit that subscribe button to stay informed. Thanks for watching.